And this goes in the category of one thing that I forgot to share, or I'd like to add, because it incorporates kind of the discussion of Dantian, or Dantian, or second chakra, but also engages kind of the idea of grounding, but in a very different way. I'm going to contrast the idea of grounding from the idea of centering, or in the words of a couple of my teachers, getting out of the way. The thought or the idea that normally we are forward. This is the sensory part of our body, and that's the motor part of our body. Mostly we kind of grasp the world. If we look at the way the energy field organizes, nearly everybody I see, except for people who do specific practices to counter this, the field is pulled way forward, like a huge orbit this way, where there's not much behind us. What does that mean? Well, the first one means we're imbalanced, right? It means it's very difficult to find balance. That means it's very difficult to process information. And if we're either interested in a martial practice or we're interested in a healing practice, it means because our energies are always flowing forward, it's kind of like we're always putting energy out. It's kind of like trying to have a conversation, but you're the only one doing the talking. So it means that you're in this relationship with the universe where you're talking all the time, and you're searching for data all the time, and you're projecting yourself all the time, but you're never listening. The data of the universe aren't coming to you because you're so busy putting it out this way. So a long time ago, I met the most powerful healer I've ever encountered on the Zuni reservation. And he was one of the Aquamosi, one of the itinerant healers. He was called a bone doctor. And his main trick was to be able to recrystallize bone fractures overnight. I watched him work on a boy who had a bad head concussion, and he brought the boy back from unconsciousness in an incredibly short time. It also happened to be the first time I had a really profound experience seeing energy. It was so bright and so vivid, I could have seen it with sunglasses or something. And when I asked him about what he did, the one thing he said that he felt was really important, he said, all you have to do is get out of the way. All you have to do is get out of the way. And you never have to worry about protecting yourself. You never have to worry about the source of your power because you're immediately connected to your ancestors and the Creator. And this guy was connected to enough power that he could literally recrystallize bone fractures. And I saw 37 sets of x-rays that were documented and notarized by the hospital in Zuni that actually documented the work that this guy did, this miraculous. It was written up in a couple journals and kind of amazing. And what he talked about in getting out of the way was pulling your energies behind yourself. And I already made these observations I started with that were all way forward. And he said, yeah, just get out of the way, get behind yourself. And we never really had a chance. I was in medical school, he was old, and before I could say, well, what do you mean by getting behind yourself? He passed. And then one of my other teachers, an osteopathic teacher in Maine, taught me this exercise. And when I asked, and it had a profound effect on me in the moment where she shared it. And I asked her what it was called, because I had been meditating since I was like 4, and I never experienced such a quick shift of my consciousness and my field. And she said, well, the old doctor under whom she trained had felt that she was too distracted and too tired to do work he was trying to teach her. So he taught her this exercise, and he called it getting out of the way, which I thought was like, wow, that's a weird coincidence. And this was like 3 years after Jimmy Awasha, Jimmy the bone doctor, had talked to me about getting out of the way and getting behind myself. So what we're literally going to do after you get to whatever meditative place you can, mean something different for everybody. What I like to do is first listen to your breath go out and then in, and then listen to your heartbeat. Maybe listen to the blood in your hands. Settle into your sits bones, let your neck and head find balance. And then I start with a little ball of energy, ball of consciousness, and I let it slide down to, here we are in our lower Dantian again. Second chakra. I talked about it as, in the Chinese tradition, as a cave filled with cinnabar crystals, as coarse red-brown. And then with our breath, we take this little, maybe a ping pong ball size of chi, and we take a little inhalation, and we allow it to float about 1.5 feet, about 18 inches behind our sacrum. And we allow it to float there, freely suspended, automatically shifting. And then we mold it into a hook. Some people have trouble with hooks, I found, teaching this, so maybe a basket, maybe Velcro, whatever works for you. It could be a metal hook, it could be a wooden hook, it could be a plastic hook, These are all design features that are kind of luxury items. We're making something back there that can hold something. And then when that hook is behind you, freely suspended, automatically shifting in space, behind your second or the middle of your sacrum, let's say you've just come in from the outside, it's a winter storm, and you've got this heavy wool coat on, and the sleet is kind of soaked through to where it's kind of frozen to your skin, so it's hard to get off. And maybe the ice has reached down through your skin into your fascia, right? Maybe all the way down into your cells. So you've got to very slowly pull this icy coat out from as deep as we can get it. Take it off all the way, get it off, and then hang it on that hook, floating about 1/2 yard or 18 inches behind our sacrum, behind our lower Dantian in space. And just make sure that the cloak stays there. Oh, maybe you've got problems with the cloak. I found this over the years sharing this. So let's say you're a surfer and you've got a wetsuit on. Maybe your wetsuit's a little tighter, you've gained a little bit of weight, so this wetsuit's kind of stuck to your skin. You gotta pull this thing off, get it off your head, pull it off, and it's not going off real easy, and you're pulling it off your legs, and when you're done, you take it up and you hang it on that hook. And you allow it to be freely suspended, automatically shifting. Now, just that one exercise has brought energy to the back of my body. It shifted me from a search and destroy relationship with the universe to I've calibrated myself as a receptive organ. And from this place, I'm centered. From this place, I am balanced. The fight or flight part is in balance with the meditative part of my nervous system, of my autonomic or automatic nervous system, so that I'm in a calm meditative state. And it's artificial. This doesn't take the place of meditation, but it produces a state that you probably wouldn't get to without meditating for a long time. This is the thing that I teach to all my student healers. This is the first step of a road toward healing. This is the first step toward a road of being able to listen to the universe, to be aware of your surroundings. A process like this is common in a number of different martial arts traditions, often the more esoteric ones, where they develop their perceptual fields to where they almost are super sensory in their ability to perceive. This is something, as I've shared it, that Native American trackers do a version of this, so they can extend their perceptual field. Now it seems funny, right? Almost paradoxical that we're putting our energy behind us, and maybe it's not all of our energy behind us, but at the same time, that's the first step of expanding and extending our perceptual field, so we actually perceive more, better, broader, more accurately, even though we've done this. So it's always made me wonder, what is it I'm putting behind there? What part of my attention that doesn't serve me? Maybe it's the part of my attention that's grasping for data. Maybe it's the part of my attention that wants to talk rather than listen. Maybe it's an insecurity-driven part of my attention. Maybe it's the part of my attention that makes me feel like I need to do something in order to accomplish something, rather than be something and allow those accomplishments to flow to me. So this is a kind of centering practice that I recommend doing. In the beginning, it probably might feel awkward. I recommend it in my work with my students, whether it's a weekend introductory class or it's the long 3.5-year program. It's the place we begin. It's a place without which there's no healing, in a way that I perceive healing. And some of my teachers would say that this is the way they live their life. So for me, it's been profound. And as you work it, you'll find that because at the same time there's not just one Dantian or Tandian, there are 3 crystal caves. There's the cinnabar cave, the rose quartz or the emerald cave, and the amethyst cave. That we may find that there are hooks related to those as well. And each time we repeat this process with another cave and another hook, it's like juggling balls. I'd start with 1 ball, and after you're really comfortable with 1 ball, maybe try 2 balls. After you've done 2 balls, maybe do 3 balls. But each time we repeat this process, something else gets taken behind us and we get more and more out of the way. And then other things happen, almost like a chain reaction in the field that ends up in this really remarkable super conscious state from which we can listen and perceive in almost kind of remarkable ways. So, hope that makes sense.